Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. We are covering a handful of games with Jeff from BMOCmoves.com. He's been killing it in our videos for going back 5 or 6 weeks. Really only had 1 or 2 losses over that entire span. Thanks for being back with us this week, Jeff. You've chosen another interesting game to cover, Louisiana Tech and UTEP. Now, Louisiana Tech, obviously a dominant team, great passing game. They're coming off a bye. They covered 3 in a row leading up to that bye, all blowout wins. Here, though, they're given 24.5 or 25 to UTEP, and UTEP, obviously not a strong team, but they had covered 3 in a row before their last, before their loss at Old Dominion last week, and they tend to play a little bit better at home. And it's a little bit of a look-ahead spot, I think, for Louisiana Tech. They have, their season comes down to their game next week, the week after against Southern Miss. I wouldn't really feel comfortable playing against Louisiana Tech, but it's a lot of points here to be giving to UTEP, who's been playing pretty well at home, and Louisiana Tech in a little bit of a look-ahead spot. Total is all over the place, 54.5, 55, or 55.5 market wide. Why'd you pick this game, Jeff, and what do you like here?
Well, as far as the side's concerned, it is a tough side. I mean, La Tech normally blows teams out when they, especially underperforming teams. But you mentioned that big collision course matchup with Southern Miss in the West Division of Conference USA. That's on their minds. I'm not sure they're concerned with going on the road and playing UTEP. You look at UTEP; they've won 3 of their 4 home games this year. They've been a pretty good home team.
Right.
They're not very good otherwise, but defensively, I mean, this team allows 7.3 yards per play on defense. They're an awful defensive team. La Tech, a very good offense, very balanced, good quarterback, great running back, some good receivers, averaging 40 points per game. And then over the last 3 games, 48 points a game. UTEP giving up 36. I mentioned their issues on defense. Look, over the last 4 meetings, the over's 4-0 against these two teams. Mac Leftwich, the new quarterback for UTEP's kind of giving them a nice dual threat out of the backfield with them there. They're scoring some points. I think they scored 20, 24 points. I think La Tech gets into the 40s here for the 4th straight game. I think this total is way too low. I think it gets into the 60s. I'm going to go with over 54.5, 55. I just think, is it a foregone conclusion anymore that La Tech's going to score 40 points?
Right.
I mean, against this pass defense, this is one of the worst yard per play allowed defenses in the country. I mean, just 7 yards per play. I mean, that's awful.
Yeah.
Give me the over in this game.
Yeah, there's actually a guy who's an alum of UTEP who posts on our YouTube videos all the time who's been saying just fade UTEP because they just can't tackle. That's what he keeps saying. They can't tackle. And I think you might be right here. This might be a great play. We also might see this one.
Peter, real quick, I just want to point out, this team gave up 52 points to Florida International and they lost by 19 to the Roadrunners of Texas San Antonio. So they're going to give a lot of points up. They should score 20 or so. This should be an easy over.
This might be one of those lines that we see take a major jump closer to kickoff. We might see it close 58.5, 59.5, something like that. But right now, market wide, 54.5, 55, and 55.5 are all market wide numbers. Jeff from BMOCmoves.com recommending play on the over 54.5. Jeff, you've been great with some of these overs that you've given us over the past bunch of weeks. Tell us what you do at your website, BMOCmoves.com.
Social media calls me the Mac Daddy. They call me the Mac Daddy because I've crushed MAC football and many other conferences. In particular, though, the MAC been on fire. 10-3 over my last 13. College basketball started. Had a great first week and a half here. 10-7 against the spread. Hit our big play earlier today on Temple, and our 2 big plays. Another total last week, Peter, for you. Arkansas State over the post total. That game was over at halftime. Also hit Washington State outright. Cougars. I've been saying it all year, Peter. How long have I said about the Cougars?
I don't know, but if you've been saying it for the past 7 or 8 weeks, you're pretty well off right now as far as finances are concerned.
Peter, the last thing I'll say, on and off the field, I love Cougars.
Right. I got that one. It took me a split second, but I got it. Now I got it. Jeff from BMOCmoves.com. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you again next week for a college football week 13.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.